Howdy, howdy, fellow fans of the internet, and welcome back for another edition of the ONETA Show, brought to you by P&T Creative. As always, I'm your host, Evan Davies. Now, today, it's a familiar topic because we actually have a bit of a note, and I will add to this later on, but this is actually going to be the last edition, most likely, unless something crazy happens, of the ONETA Show. That doesn't mean I'm never going to podcast again, but I'm going to kind of transition us into a new podcast and go from there, while also still having the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast co-hosted with Dylan Davies as well. So there's still plenty of podcasts for you. But I thought it was only fitting. I am actually working on a big Smash Bros. Project for the new iteration of the show and the new iteration of the YouTube channel that we're going to be doing. It's not like we're going away or relaunching or anything, but we're putting in a lot of different things now. So I wanted a kind of fresher, cleaner product to go forward with that. So that is why we're doing this. And I thought, what a better transition to call back to the first episode than to cut the Smash roster again. And we're going to cut it exactly in half. It's 42. We are cutting 42 characters. Now, this might not look like the craziest version of the roster, and that is because the Miis have been combined into one, Pokemon Trainer has been combined into one, Pyro and Mythra, although they should be one, are still in the same slot. And I like this because it's a little bit of a fun look for it. But this is how we're going to be cutting it. My criteria of cutting this Smash roster is pretty simple, so let's go straight into it. Number one, icons usually win out. We want Smash Bros. To be the creme de la creme, the big of the big. We want it to have that big fight feel. We want it to feel like it's, Foreman and Ali. We don't want it to feel like it's, two guys at your local bar having a brawl. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the best of the best that gaming has to offer. So icon status really, really helps on this. 2 is a unique move set, which I will take into account as well. And 3, just vibes. It's just vibes. Because actually, ultimately, when I think of everything, Smash Bros. Is the greatest celebration of gaming, which is something I'm thinking about moving forward into the new project that you guys can look forward to. But I really love the celebration of gaming aspect more than anything. So I'm going to go through. We're going to be scattershot, trying to cut down this roster, and I am going to go from there. Now, I'm going to go to some obvious keeps, and then I'm also going to do this. So if it is green, cool, it's going to be in that shade. That is going to be an automatic keep. I'm also going to be doing the obvious red or magenta style in this Miro edition. I'm using the Miro whiteboard. That is going to be our cuts. And I'm also going to have a third color. And I'm going to let's go with a violet just because it looks, maybe not. Let's go. I'm working on the fly here, as you guys can obviously see right now. I will go with an orange because very few characters are orange. And that orange is going to specify keep, but with some major revamps or with major revamps, major retooling. There's the sports terms that I use all the time as a huge sports fan. Are you rebuilding or are you retooling? Characters that are cut need to completely be rebuilt most of the time, or they just don't make sense in this thought experiment. And that's what we're going to be doing. Then we also have the characters that we want in, but we want to make them unique. We want to update the moveset in some way. We want to really honor their status in the gaming community while also having a great moveset to play with. We're looking at you, Sonic. As a huge Sonic fan, I want Sonic to be awesome. I want to play as Sonic. I force-fighted myself a ton of Sonic in Super Smash Bros. Brawl until I finally realized it's kind of tough to play with and transition to other characters. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to start here. Let's go to obvious keeps and go from there. Number 1 obvious keep is Mario, the icon of icons. do we need to really say more for you? Now, let's go over to some cuts. Just because we wanted to get one... Actually, I'm going to redo that just so we have a nice clean look here. So, Mario is kept. Alrighty, Mario's on the keep pile. Now let's go to some obvious cut candidates here. And to me, there are some obvious choices that need to go. We're thinking about this as the thought experiment of what is a new Smash game coming out. So here's how we're going to start there. There are characters that I think should actually be echoes, and I might point those out as I do it, but we're going to go to obvious cuts to make first. First and foremost, I think you look at the guest characters, actually. And a lot of people are like, no, don't go rid of the guest characters. I think those are obvious places to start. And I'm actually going to start with Tekken's own Kazuya. Kazuya, although a fun character, doesn't really speak to the masses. It's fun to get more fighting game reps in, and I do understand that, and I appreciate that, and that's something I'm looking forward to putting in to my own iteration of Smash Bros. For the next project. However, or proposing, I should say, it's not as though I'm making this myself. However, Kazuya is an odd choice because it's not even the Tekken rep. I think of all people Tekken should be represented by, as someone who doesn't play Tekken, as only toyed with it here or there, Heihachi's the obvious choice, and to not even get Heihachi, to go to Kazuya, which I'm not against off the wall picks or different picks, but if you're gonna do that, it doesn't really make sense. And Kazuya was by far the weakest character addition of the last 5 characters. And I think Kazuya is a very obvious cut. Now let's go over here to characters that I think should be echoes, or should even just be skins. And let's start right here with Mr. Educated Mario. However, we do love a malpractice Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario's got to go. Dr. Mario, for all intents and purposes, is just a reskin of Mario. And if they gave us a alternate costume for Mario that was Dr. Mario, that's on brand, and I love that. But I don't want an Echo Fighter or a straight-up character slot used by Dr. Mario. So that brings us up to 2 here for our cuts. Same thing, we'll look right across there, and we're going with Pichu. Pichu gets the axe as well. Pichu, fun addition, little cool gimmick, but again, we're getting away from these kind of things going forward. So these are 2 cuts that make a lot of sense to me. Now, let's go to another one that kind of hurts, but I think is really worthwhile. And we're going to have the Toon Link, Young Link discussion. And of the obvious choices, it's Young Link needs to go. With Young Link, it's representing really 2 games that are from the late 90s, early 2000s, in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and while they are absolute masterpieces that are still relevant to this day, that's the only thing really tying them there. There's nothing else kind of there. Where Toon Link, I'm not sure Toon Link is going to make it, but I'm going to keep for now because Toon Link really represents a completely different way that the Zelda franchise plays. A completely different art style and vibe is brought by Toon Link. So I'm not guaranteeing Toon Link makes the cut, but Toon Link has at least an argument. Young Link does not. Outside of the Milk Taunt, I don't think Young Link brings a lot to the table here. So Young Link goes. And speaking of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, Sheik also has to go. I also think that although Sheik is popular for playstyle and other things of that nature, it's tough because, hey, it's one game. And it's a really cool gimmick when the 2 of them were tied with Princess Zelda. However, no longer tied together. They don't have that Pyra and Mithra aspect to them. So that is why I say we get Sheik out of here. If they wanted to replace that playstyle with a few different moves and go to a character from Zelda such as an Impa, all for it. Go for it. But Sheik, I don't think makes the cut, and I would be more than happy if they made an Echo Fighter version or an alternate skin version for Princess Zelda here. or an alternate costume version here. So already, that's 5 cuts off the board. Now, I'm going to go back to those guest characters again. And King of Fighters, although it is popular in a subsection, it is the biggest "who is that?" for the vast majority of people in this edition of DLC. Because at least ARMS was pretty topical at the time when Min Min was added. Terry was the one character more than any other that I literally had to Google and read about to go, who the hell is this character? I have no idea who they are. And there are some other characters from the King of Fighters franchise that they wanted to go in a new direction and give us a new fighter. I think would be really interesting, and Terry's just not there. So we're going to take Terry off the board as well. Alrighty, and let's stick again to those fighting characters that we probably don't need, and let's go straight to who I just talked about. It's Min Min. Min Min. ARMS was not the success that the Switch needed, and ARMS really added to the, hey, all this console has currently is Breath of the Wild conversation. Although Min Min is cool, I don't have a... Min Min is one of those characters that if I get Min Min, I go, and when I click random and we just play as friends on a LAN party, that, okay, cool, but it doesn't really spark the joy that it needs to. So Min Min is also cut. ARMS is not coming back with a vengeance at this point. At least if it does, no one will see it coming. So that is why Min Min is going to get the axe here. And that brings us cut up to 7 already. We're already at 7 cut characters. Now I'm going to switch gears and I'm going to go to another highly debated topic. And that is, how many fucking Fire Emblem characters should be in this game? And I think it's actually really wise to look at a franchise and just mathematically go, how much do they deserve? So as I simultaneously talk this, I'm also going to go back to that green color, and I'm going to go into Mario again. When we look at Mario, obvious choice. Luigi has to stay. Luigi, again, an icon, has been made different from Mario. I believe Luigi deserves to be there. Princess Peach obviously needs to be in this game. The female character of video gaming. Princess Peach already has an awesome moveset to play with that I absolutely adore, even if they're somewhat joking animations and joke moves. They bring a real fun and joy to the game that it belongs with. Hitting people with a frying pan or a golf club is dope. The hip attack is one of my favorite attacks in all of Smash Bros. Peach is an obvious keep. And then right next to her is Bowser. Smash has a huge villains problem, and Bowser is the video game villain. And I actually kind of enjoy playing with Bowser. I think it could use a little bit of retooling, but nonetheless, it stays. So already 1, 2, 3, 4 we have for Mario. Now let's continue on to those Mario characters a little bit more. Donkey Kong is Mario adjacent, but Donkey Kong has become his own franchise. Donkey Kong an icon. It will be... Actually, you know what? I'm going to redo this one, and I'm going to go to the orange category of you stay with some major revamping. I don't think DK's moveset is crazy bad or anything, but DK is going to get retooled because they're going to go with that revamped classic look that they gave it from Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I'm really excited to play on stream pretty soon. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But Donkey Kong is also Mario adjacent, and it's going to stay. So with a little bit of retooling, mostly for that graphic update, DK stays. Then we go to Yoshi. Yoshi, again, just like Donkey Kong, technically the rep for its own franchise, but let's be honest, it's Mario adjacent as well. But Yoshi stays. Yoshi is, again, a gaming icon. We absolutely love this weird dragon dinosaur thingamabob. Whatever it is, he's our friend, and we love Yoshi. Or she's our friend, or it's our friend. We don't care what it's called. We don't care what they announce themselves as. We love that. So we stick there into those green categories. Then we go over and continue with Mario a little bit. And here's Rosalina. And Rosalina, I think, is an odd choice right now. And an odd one to talk about. And people may be thinking, oh, why? Nintendo has now fully made the jump into being a multimedia company. One of the last things that they held out on was television and film, especially from their early experiences with the Mario Bros. Movie from, was it 93 or whatever that was? That was an absolute disaster. Now they have a successful franchise, and the biggest new addition to our upcoming film is Rosalina. So while I don't believe Rosalina is a great choice to keep in Smash, it's going to stay in the nods for now because it's a really smart choice to have for all those gaming purposes. So we're going to go here and leave it alone for now. And then we're going to go to another Mario rep in Bowser Jr. While I love Bowser Jr. and it's a unique, fun thing, I don't think we need Bowser Jr. on this roster. I think it's a pretty decently easy cut. Again, character that is fun and enjoyable and a little bit, and does have that villain factor, which I really appreciate. But many villains probably are going to miss the cut simply because, do you need them? Bowser Jr., I don't think anyone's going to die on the hill of Bowser Jr. So Bowser Jr. is going to go. Then we take it to Daisy. And Daisy, as an Echo Fighter, it's just a copy. However, Daisy is, in my opinion, the biggest missed opportunity in all of Smash Bros., including characters like Sonic that I mentioned before. Because Daisy has the opportunity, from the more character development they've given Daisy over the last 10 years, of being someone who can be the representative for all the Mario games that are spin-offs, such as the sports games, the parties, the karts, all of those. So that is why currently, we may have to come back. I'm not going to give the check mark, but we are going to orange icon Daisy, because I think Daisy has a real shot to make this roster. And then we go through, and Piranha Plant. I love Piranha Plant. I think Piranha Plant is one of the best things they did in all of Smash Ultimate. Sue me. I think that A, the joke is great, but B, it's such an off-the-wall character, and that's one thing Smash... You could say they had some more fun, weird, gimmicky characters. They do, such as Game & Watch, and a few others. But Piranha Plant is such an out-there, left-field, super creative moveset fun set to give people that I don't want to just say, oh, easy cut. Because I also think Piranha Plant, if you think about it, is more iconic than half this roster. And people would go, no. When people think of those Mario games, they see Goombas and they see Piranha Plants right alongside Mario, along with Koopas. Those are the things they see and they care about. Piranha Plant is not such a dumb thing to have as people want to make it out to be, which is why I'm not going to cut it immediately. Then I'm going to go to another big franchise, though, for some cuts. And I'm going to go to Pokemon. This is going to be the most controversial. There are many people that say that the original 12 are sacred cows that should never be taken out. Jigglypuff's got to go. Jigglypuff is the most obvious subtraction of those original 12, with Fox being a close second. Because, again, they've faded. And the most important thing that Jigglypuff has been a part of is that alternate paradox form from Scarlet and Violet and Screamtail. But does Jigglypuff really add anything to this roster? I don't think it does. It's mostly just a Kirby dupe. There's a lot of people trying to mod it. I've been watching a couple videos, preparing for the other part of this project. And I was like, oh, I should just go cut it. And Jigglypuff is one where people are like, I want it to stay, I want it to stay, but they can't justify it, and it's because it's unjustifiable, which is why Jigglypuff is also cut from our roster. Now let's do a quick check-in here. We're already 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 characters on the cut list, which is pretty darn good. Not gonna lie. So let's continue with Pokemon. And I'm going to go to some keep sections here. Obviously, Pikachu's got to stay. We love Pikachu. It's, along with Mario, and possibly even without Mario, the most recognizable gaming icon ever is Pikachu. It's obvious Pikachu has to stay. Then, I'm also going for the rest of Pokemon. And I am going to say keep to Mewtwo. Mewtwo has been cut before. It was a controversial cut before. Mewtwo fits multiple things. 1, it's one of the most recognizable Pokemon ever. 2, it does have a little bit of that villain factor to it, even though it's more of an anti-hero, just neutral character. It does have that big boss feel, and because of the Mewtwo Strikes Back movie, which has been revamped by Netflix in the last couple of years as well, Mewtwo does have a little bit of that villain effect to him. So Mewtwo is one that I say stays. Now let's go back to some cuts for Pokemon here. And while Lucario is fun, Lucario not as popular as he once was. Although the Kalos set Pokemon Legends ZA does give a little bit more shine to those Megas again, I think Lucario goes to the cut. And already we're at our first 10. Okay? And I'm just putting that in random numbers, so if anyone's like, oh, why'd you put it under the original Smash logo? I'm just doing that as cuts. So we're already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 cuts down. Then we come to some interesting things. And I'm going to start with Incineroar. I think Incineroar's moveset is awesome and gives a lot of fun. But it's a tough cut because you got to make it down to 42. And of relevancy of all the Pokemon left, Incineroar just doesn't have it. We're now 2 generations removed, and we have another fire starter that will always be more iconic than Incineroar. So we have to say goodbye to Incineroar. It's a shame because by moveset, if this was just a by moveset cut roster, Incineroar stays. And I love his moveset. But Incineroar has to go for this. Now we go to Pokemon Trainer and Greninja, where, oddly enough, there's not a lot of Pokemon left, because we already cut Pikachu, Pichu and Jigglypuff. You'd think Pokemon would have a lot more reps, and I think it should. But here are 2 problematic cases in which I'm going to do this first. The Pokemon Trainer gimmick is so good and is so representative of its own franchise going into Smash that I think it needs to stay. But I'm going to say retooling. And I'm saying retooling because of this. While I love the core trio idea of Pokemon Trainer, I think the Pokemon should be revamped. Which is why I'm going to say we get Charizard by himself and we update the Pokemon Trainer to get new Pokemon. Now, this is nothing new. I have said this in the former episode of the show, but I think Charizard's already been on his own, have that great fire starter, and then revamp the Pokemon Trainer concept with new Pokemon to really liven up that character play. And I really enjoyed that idea. So Pokemon Trainer will stay with new Pokemon in a former one, but in terms of keeping them, they obviously stay as just part of this cutting experiment, but we really are focusing on Charizard. And Greninja is tougher than people want to say because, although it might be a little skewed, multiple times Greninja has been voted the most popular Pokemon, and Legends ZA, let me tell you, is not hurting that reputation. I was already kind of fading on Greninja, and then I played ZA, and I did not intend for this to happen, and Greninja became one of my two aces. I tried to play with Pokemon A I really love, which I like Greninja and I like Charizard, but they're not my favorites. And those two turned into my aces simply because of how the game works. But it was so much fun getting to play with Greninja. I would just sweep through areas just playing him. And then going forward to a Smash roster, it's got a weird playset that I think is important. It's one of those characters that every fighting game should have, but it also maybe not doesn't make the cut. Since we're already keeping Pikachu, Mewtwo, and the trainer, it's a tough one. So again, up in the air. So I'm just gonna put these little dots here in case. So we've already talked about Rosalina and Greninja as possible cut candidates, but we're not going to go there yet, along with Toon Link. Now, let's start getting to some real cuts here. Fire Emblem. I'm going to be the first to tell people. I'm not a huge Fire Emblem fan, and by huge fan, I've never played it. But I do enjoy the concepts of those games. I enjoy the art direction of those games, and I'm not against them. I've just never played them. It's never called to me for more. Perhaps we'll try it on the stream one day. There are obvious choices to stay, but there are already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fucking Fire Emblem characters. That is more than Pokemon has. That is more than The Legend of Zelda has. That's rivaling Mario characters. And I'm sorry, it's just not that important of a franchise. So this is where math comes into play real hard. Max, I keep 3 of them. So let's go to axing time. Although Roy is popular and is almost a Smash original, Roy is not actually that representative of the Fire Emblem franchise from what I understand from my friends who do play it. So Roy is out. Ike, I'll think about. We continue. Lucina, Echo Fighter, definitely don't need it. It's really copy-pasted with Marth. Lucina's out. Robin. Robin's an interesting character build, but Robin really isn't that welcoming of a character. And although it's a good rep for Awakening, can't do it. Gotta cut Robin. Then we go to Corrin. Oh, God. I'm going to upset my number one chatter because my lovely girl Ash does love her some Corrin while playing Smash, but Corrin is not that welcoming of a character, so Corrin's got to go. Then we go to Chrom. Echo Fighter doesn't need to be here, kind of a mix of Roy and Ike, so we go over here, and you go here to Chrom being axed. Now it comes down to who's left. I said I'd keep 3. Marth, Ike, Byleth. Because we already cut Chrom, Robin, Lucina, Corrin, and Roy. So we can see who we're going to keep here. On that keep list, obviously the icon and the pseudo mascot of Fire Emblem is Marth. Marth gets to stay. I'm sure I made some people of the Fire Emblem community very upset with some of these cuts, but we like it. Ike, I'm actually going to undo this line because I want to keep Ike, actually, as more of a heavy sword fighter, but I don't know if he's going to make that final 42, which I'm not going to do it. I will, though, guarantee Byleth. I think Byleth has to stay because I think really fun moveset with the what is it, triple or quadruple weapon set. I really enjoy that. And it's from the most recent games to be impacted by Smash, so I'm going to say that Byleth stays. Ike, I want to keep, but I can't guarantee it, so we'll just go with that nice little red dot there for Ike as well. Now, let's update our kill count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're 16. only 16 here. We got to start cutting a lot more characters. And this is where we got to make some tough choices. Oh, wait. No, we don't. We have Star Fox. I love Fox. Fox is great. Falco. Kind of a Smash original icon. And Wolf was actually really fun in the last Smash. However, Star Fox is on its ass and hasn't been on its feet in 2 decades. Frankly, since I really started playing games back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I actually made that transition to trying to make more active choices to try stuff was early 2000s. Already, Fox wasn't up to snuff when I was 10 years old, and now I am 33, and Fox is even in worse shape. Or Star Fox, I should say, which is why, although it's going to pain some people, somebody gotta go, and Falco has to go. And I would make it easy Falco has to go before Wolf, because we want villains in Smash 2. But, unfortunately, this is one villain that can't make the cut. And that is why Wolf... Somebody gotta go! Somebody gotta go! That's how it is, man. That's how it goes. Now, let's go over to Metroid. Obviously, Samus has to stay in here. We don't have Dark Samus as an Echo Fighter, which is a nice touch here. Actually, yeah, we do. Let's go take care of that right away. We don't need Dark Samus. There are better villains out there. I think it's a fun alternate costume, not a good Echo Fighter. And then we have Ridley and Zero Suit. I would want to fold Zero Suit back into play. I do enjoy Zero Suit a lot more than I enjoy playing Samus. But if you're going to have one, Samus has to be the one. Not Zero Suit. So that's where we have to go on that one. Now let's look at our kill count once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Wow. I gotta. Alrighty. I'm just putting some little tally marks here so we can pay attention to where we're going. So now let's look at some keeps here. Let's get some icons here. As we said, Samus has to stay. Ridley is up for discussion. I will stay off Ridley for now. Now let's look to some obvious keeps. I said we'd keep Fox. I would even consider Fox not fully safe yet, but for all intents and purposes, Fox stays. I'm going to make this really easy on us right now. The rest of the original 12, outside of Jigglypuff, they all stay. Obviously, Link stays. Kirby, there's no way you could cut Kirby. Kirby's essential. Plus, his number one biggest fan is the creator, or is the director of these games. Ness, I want to stay because Ness is essentially another Smash original at this point. Really shows what Smash is capable of with Ness by making games kind of cult classics because people want to know where they're from. So Ness stays, and Captain Falcon is kind of the OGest of OG original Smash. We got to make something work, and he's awesome. And I love Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon is one of my top 3 fighters. I don't care if it's a busted moveset. Falcon Punch is great. Falcon Kick is great. And I just want to do that the whole time. So that's why they stay. Now, other obvious keeps here. We have to keep the Miis. The Miis, beyond kind of being pseudo-iconic at this point, the Miis also create the option for customizable characters. I think that needs to be actually retooled a lot. So let me go back here for you. And I'm going to put in the retooling. I have some plans for this in the future episodes of whatever new show that's going to be. And video essays and whatever we do with it. That the Miis stay, but there's going to be some major retooling. For now, just saying the Miis as one fighter slot, because I think that's fair. Miis stay with some major retooling. Now let's go to some more obvious keeps. Obviously, Princess Zelda needs to be in this game. She is the namestay. She's the actual namesake of the franchise she's from. Although Link is the icon, Zelda's where it's at. Plus, you want some female representation in this game. You want different styles of play, and I think Zelda does that. So that is why we're going to keep Zelda. Now, let's go to some icon status here. Sonic, as booty cheeks as his moveset is, as I already discussed, Sonic's got to stay. We're going to put him in the orange because he needs some major retooling. But Sonic's got to keep being here because Sonic is dope. Now, we continue. Who's got some of that juice, that status to stay? And actually, this middle section's a little tough to say that. Mega Man would be the closest, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that conversation. Let's go to another new icon for Nintendo, and that is the Inklings. The Inklings are obvious mainstays now. Splatoon does really well for Nintendo. Really fun play on the shooter genre. So the Inklings are in. I think the Inklings are great. And we need to go to Animal Crossing 2. Again, scattershotting around here, folks, but that's A-okay. I prefer Villager to Isabelle, but perhaps only one stays. That's the tough part here. Because again, we've only eliminated 19 characters, and we got to get down. So, let's make some obvious choices, then have some tough discussions. Richter from Castlevania, he gone. I guess of the Belmonts, Simon would be the one to stay. I'm not guaranteeing Simon, though. I can't guarantee Simon. Oh, I am sorry. I did forget one in this last discussion. Steve from Minecraft obviously has to be in this game. Minecraft is legitimately the biggest game of all time. And Steve was such a huge addition. Steve's got to stay. And if they put that godforsaken Lava Chicken song in, I will end it. But at the same time, I played it constantly for the kids I work with. So, what are you going to do? Alright. We got to start making some decisions here. And just start making cuts. And I'm going to go right here to the Wii Fit trainer. Wii Fit's kind of been replaced already, which is tough. I like Wii Fit as an idea. There's already good replacements. If we go new, a fun joke character that I don't think the joke has as much status with. So that should be the 20-piece here. The 20-piece McNugget. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I keep counting on stream. That's what happens when you do this live. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Jesus Christ! I just miscounted a bunch of stuff. There we go. Cool. Now let's go to another obvious one. Let's get rid of the Echo, known as Ken. It's not that I thought Ken sucked. It's that we don't need Ken. I don't even know if you can make the argument you need a Street Fighter rep as a third party. But you certainly don't need two of them that are almost the exact same. So that is why Ken's gone. Now, Kid Icarus. I would, of the three of them, because we're probably only going to keep one mathematically, I think Palutena is the best. But I think you go with more of the mainstay here. And that is why I will kill one of my main characters, which is Dark Pit. I love Dark Pit. That side sweeper move is one of my absolute favorites. I always play with the red scarfed version. I love Dark Pit so bad, but he's got to go. Somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. And Dark Pit's going to make that cut for us. And as much as it hurts, Palutena, I think, needs to go as well. It's tough because you don't want to see it, but it's got to go. So we're up to 24 now. And for now, Pit stays. Another obvious choice to stay, Pac-Man. Beyond the fact that it's owned by Bandai Namco, and Pac-Man, has Bandai Namco behind it, as both its owner and co-developer of Super Smash Bros. Now, it's the icon. Pac-Man, everybody knows who the fuck Pac-Man is, so Pac-Man's gotta stay. And now we're getting to some really, really difficult decisions. Some that'll upset, some that I don't think should be worthy of being upset about, but whatever. So let's go to Xenoblade. And I'm going to make a possibly controversial... I think Xenoblade is actually pretty interesting from a franchise perspective. Again, it's not a game I'm very familiar with. I know Shulk is the pseudo-mascot. It helped being in Smash. But I'm actually taking Shulk off the board, and I'm going to keep Pyra and Mithra. Reason being, all due respect to Shulk. Shulk has not become the icon of the franchise that he's from. The characters change all the time. And Xenoblade 2 has gotten more development, it's raised the popularity level a lot, and that is why, temporarily at the very least, I'm keeping Pyra and Mithra as that rep. I think it's a far more unique version, you get 2 characters in one, which helps. Female representation in the game also helps here, but nonetheless, Pyra and Mithra are just cool. They're just cool characters, so they're going to stay. Sometimes we go off vibes. It's all that matters sometimes is vibes. So again, we are here. I'm going to just eliminate the rest of the discussions up top quick for my own sanity here. And I am going to make a keep that some might disagree with. The Ice Climbers stay. Smash Originals, essentially, they're awesome. I wasn't even really in the Nintendo sphere during the DS and Wii U days, and even I got pissed when I heard that the Ice Climbers weren't there. The Ice Climbers gotta stay. They're such a unique build. They're great. They're a really fun retro rep. Anyone who says cut the Ice Climbers, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Fuck off. Continuing. I think we go Kirby now. And I am going to make some controversial cuts I'm taking Meta Knight off the board. Meta Knight, obviously, such a big point of conversation, which is actually good for Smash. However, once we moved on to Smash 4, it wasn't that big a deal. He just wasn't that big of a deal. And then in Ultimate, it's kind of like, okay, cool, Meta Knight's here. And it's nerfed, and I get it, and it's not very fun, but you just gotta let it go sometimes. And this is where, of the ones that you want to stay, I think you want some different stuff. We have sword fighters. We don't need more sword fighters. What we need is heavies, and what we need is potential villains. And that is King Dedede, which is why King Dedede gets to stay. So we're back at it here. So the top row has 4 cuts off of it. Alrighty. So 4 up top. And then we got to start making some moves here on what we want to do. And it's where it's going to hurt feelings. I'm going to go to a keep, though. And I am going to keep Hero from Dragon Quest. Although I have never played a Dragon Quest game in my entire life, one thing I can tell you, the execution of this character, showcasing 8 different heroes from that franchise, and having the drop-down menu was such a cool addition. I love playing as Hero. I have zero attachment to Dragon Quest. Literally zero. Couldn't care less. I know it's like a national holiday in Japan, and more power to them. That's great for them. And yet, I gotta say, fucking rad, dog. Hero's dope. And he gets to stay. The execution of that moveset is incredible. Thank you guys, whoever just joined the stream. It's appreciated. Hero gets to stay, and I don't really care otherwise. So up top, the keeps already here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We got 15 up top of keeps. I'm doing a little, housekeeping here. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We're up to the 26 mark of keeps. So we're at a dead heat right now of keeps and cuts. And then some of it goes up to vibes, some of it goes down to chance, some of it goes down to some other stuff. I said earlier I was going to honor icon status a lot. So I'm going to do both a cut and a keep here. In the keep category, I will keep Mega Man. Mega Man, kind of that part of the reason we love Smash is that 90s idea of what if they all got to fight together. Mega Man has that energy, so we're going to keep Mega Man to get up to 27. But I'm going to make a controversial cut. One I don't like making because I actually really enjoy this being a Nintendo first platform. And I'm going to cut Olimar. Pikmin was never my cup of tea, but it's not always about what I like and what I want. The moveset, it's not fun. Like, Olimar is a nightmare to play as. If you don't love playing as Olimar in Smash, if you're not part of that very niche crew, virtually no one likes playing as Olimar. Number one. Two, the Pikmin franchise, although big, is not gangbusters big. Like the ones we kept. Obviously, Mario characters, Pokemon, Zelda. But then even the modern stuff, we know we want to keep a Xenoblade rep. I would say Xenoblade's more important than Pikmin. We know we needed to have Inkling because Splatoon is such a big franchise. So we got to go there. We got to take it. Now I'm going to go back at some third parties, and I'm going to piss off my former co-host a lot. And one I've actually come around on. And that is, I think, we have to cut Snake. But I'm rethinking it as I'm saying it, so I'm not going to cut it just yet. Let's go to some more keeps just to force our hands here. I'm going to go to Wario. Wario's got to stay. He's got villain energy, does have his own franchise to represent. But beyond that, fun gimmick character. Really enjoy just the crude nature of him. Gotta love that. Now let's go to some cuts. And we're going to take it to Lucas from Mother 3. That, unless you're doing fan mods and shit, has never even been localized outside Japan. Lucas, let's be honest, is really close to NES. Could almost be an Echo Fighter, frankly. You don't need Lucas. You just don't. Now, I might even be upsetting my lovely co-host from the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast, Dylan Davies, because he loves playing, was it Poop Green? Yeah, Poop Green Lucas, also known as Pookus. He always switches to that color set, and he always plays as Lucas when I can get him to play, because he likes Lucas. But Lucas is irrelevant in this conversation, so Lucas, he gotta go. He gotta go. And you gotta be tough on those kinds of things. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 26, 27, 28. Okay. We're up to 28 cuts. We're getting there. We're getting there. And this is where I gotta start making some decisions, and this one's gonna hurt people. I'm going to cut Banjo. Banjo and Kazooie, long-time fights. I think, honestly, history could have been changed in general if Banjo makes the cut in the first one or Melee. But that rare deal came in at the wrong time. Banjo and Kazooie is not a really fun character to play as. It meant a lot to get Banjo, but I think the height of Banjo is the moment Banjo was announced. And that was it. And so that's why Banjo and Kazooie aren't going to make the cut. It's one of those characters that is always fringe. I'd like to keep them, but I can't argue them. And that's a problem. Now let's go over and we're going to keep Little Mac. Little Mac, I think, is actually quite a fun character, very different idea, but Little Mac is an interesting one to stay a part of. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Alright, we're up to 29 keepers. And one that I circled that I probably shouldn't have already. And I'm going to make the cut now, and it hurts me. Toon Link, I've thought about it. Toon Link's got to go. We don't need 3 versions of the same character, although I really do believe in the arguments I gave for Toon Link before. But I'm already seeing tough to go. And that is where I think we're up to the 30 mark. Just going to double check here, though. Oh, didn't X out Palutena. Should probably do that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, that middle row is tough. It's tough to stay alive in that middle row right now. If you're not in the video version of this, I'll make sure it's on Spotify as well. But 10 cuts straight from the middle row. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, we're up 30. 31. 31 cuts. We got to keep going. We got to keep killing feelings. And where do my tastes lie? That's the problem. And I have to have a discussion. There are 3 retro reps left on the board. Do we need all of them? I'm not sure. It pains me, my friend, because I do play as you, even though I'm one of the few who does. And Dalmatian Duck Hunt is one of my absolute favorites in Smash, but Duck Hunt, we must bid you adieu. You have the least personality of good moveset with the retros. You're a great troll character, though, and I love being a troll with Duck Hunt. It's just fun to play as Duck Hunt and troll people. So that's 32 cuts made here. I'm going to go to a tough one for me because I think it's one that 99 times out of 100 I keep. But do we need Sephiroth? I hate it because I'm going against a principle of mine, which is don't just cut villains. But when you look at Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy VII in general, who's the one you got to keep? It's got to be Cloud. And that makes our keep count up to, I believe, 30 with Cloud. Cloud stays because beyond anything, Final Fantasy should be represented. And who's the biggest icon from Final Fantasy? It's Cloud motherfucking Strife. So, we gotta stick with him. And we continue on this roasting battlefield that we know. And Sephiroth just had to go, so I believe we're at 33 on the kill count. We need to cut 9 more characters. I'm going to make an easy one here and go to the retool bar. Ganondorf needs to be in this game. I don't want to cut more villains, especially in terms of outside of Bowser, who's the biggest villain in all of Nintendo? Think about that. Who is the biggest, most consistent villain in all of Nintendo outside of Bowser? It's Ganon. Or Ganondorf. And we know they're the same entity and they matter. But we know the moveset sucks. Ganondorf gets to stay with a bunch of major retooling, and that's a big one there. So, he gets to stay because of that. And I think I gotta start making some bigger ones. I'm gonna hurt some Castlevania fans here. I'm gonna take out Simon as well. Simon wasn't really that fun to play as, and I was really excited to play as Simon. As someone who I've actually never played, actually played a very tiny bit of Castlevania before, but I'm really interested in the aesthetic and the story and the music and the theming behind Castlevania. Everything about that screams Evan Davies. Yet, I didn't get that love with Simon, so I got to take Simon off the board here. And I kind of want to finish off that middle row just to do it, but I don't know. Now, I'm going to do another hurtful one. I'm going to keep Isabelle and cut Villager. I love Villager. Villager has actually become a fun time for me. My favorite is actually just doing tag team battles with our boy Angelo, our first co-host ever from the ONETA show. where he does all the dirty work and he just tries to get them into me so I can just chop trees down on them. But I would like to keep... I put Isabelle in the orange one because I want to take some of the cool parts of the moveset from Villager. But if you actually look at the representatives Animal Crossing, it's more Isabelle than it is the player character, which is why Isabelle should stay. And that brings up another cut here. We got those two maybes in the middle that are very, very interesting to go with. Interesting. All right, let's go here. I don't care for this character much, but you gotta keep Sora. I think Sora is a character that Sora was the request. Sora was the Hail Mary that finally was completed. The pass was completed, and the fans won. Think of how insanely different you might think of Smash Ultimate if we don't end the DLC pack with Sora. Because although I'm not a big Kingdom Hearts fan, and I was someone who said just let it go because whatever, I don't think Sora's that big a deal, other people were in legitimate tears to get Sora. And it was, again, I think the height of Sora was, again, the announcement trailer and not really getting to play with Sora. But it was a huge... If there were any more mountains to climb to prove that Smash was the arbiter of gaming, it was that last one, that last edition with Sora. So Sora's going to stay here. And then there were a bunch of other ones. I've been intentionally avoiding DK for a reason. I am going to make another keep that I'm not crazy about. But I think she is important and cool, and Nintendo has vested interest in her. And that would be Bayonetta. Bayonetta gets to stay. Bayonetta is not terrible to play as. I enjoy playing as Bayonetta from time to time when it does come up in my randoms. Alrighty. I'm making a selfish pick, but one I think that is important. We want the villains. We need the villains. And K. Rool helps the villain count. K. Rool is also fun. It's amazing how many people wanted K. Rool to come into the game, and also K. Rool was just actually really interesting to play as. And that parry move is awesome with just the glowing gold belly defense. Chef's kiss. Fucking love K. Rool. K. Rool is definitely one of my mains, if you couldn't tell, but beyond my own selfish means, although I did say it was a selfish pick, it's a villain. And it's a heavy. Those are two character slots that aren't really filled a lot by Smash, and that's why I kept him. Then there's everybody else. Now, I'm going to think less money-wise here, and more for the health of this roster, and I'm going to take out Rosalina. Simply put, it's the easiest to lift out left of the Mario characters. And that is where we're going to go. And I'm going to guarantee a Xenoblade rep now, so I'm going to say Pyra and Mithra. I can't believe I didn't do it already. You're in. So the bottom row has 4 and 4 cuts. So that bottom row, a little tough here. I hope this looks very much John Madden-esque with the teleprompter, with how crazy this thing looks. But, you know, we've got to have some fun with it. Got to enjoy it while we can. So let's get another kill count in. It's 4 off the top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. We have killed 36 characters off this roster, and we need to cut 6 more. Oh, who needs to stay is the question. Who needs to stay? And I'm going to validate the retro rep. Game & Watch has got to stay. Game & Watch represents an era of gaming prior to even Mario. But also, it's essentially a Smash original character at this point. And he flips bacon! That's an awesome offensive move. You can't even be mad about it. But beyond that, fun joke character that actually stays and is fun to play with. People really enjoy. Completely gives a new aesthetic on screen when Game & Watch is there, and compared to everything else, was a really fun addition in Melee that made it feel as though Melee was bigger and made Smash feel bigger. I gotta keep Mr. Game & Watch, man. Mr. Game & Watch has gotta stay. Gots to stay here. Now, let's just do some math a different way here. We have 4 undecided on this second row. Only 1 undecided in the middle. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 undecideds. 10 undecideds. And we can only keep, I believe, 6 of them. I am going to have to make the tough choice here. I'm going to cut Ike. Nope. Wrong color. I want to keep Ike, actually. I really do. But if we're cutting this, we also know more characters are going to come from Fire Emblem. And Ike would be... Ike just, again... Do we really need that many Fire Emblem reps? And I don't think we do. Sorry, I just don't think we do. So Ike's gotta go. Somebody gotta go! Somebody gotta go! Alright, let's make some keepers here. I think you want Kid Icarus represented. Although it's there's a reason they kept as long as they did. Do you really need it? I think you would like it. I think Pit is a good addition. And you could literally just put Dark Pit in as an alternate costume. It would be fine, essentially. So we're going to keep Pit. And for the time being, I am going to keep Ridley. Ridley, again, villain. We fought forever to get him. I'm using the grand scheme we here, but Ridley was such an off-the-wall cool addition. The moveset could be a lot better, actually, so hold on a tick as I give you that nice orange color scheme here. And we give Ridley the, you get to stay, but you better retool. Hello, energetic music lover. Welcome in to this cut roster portion of the show and I am, how do you cut them down? But if you like them or not, or just, so I said this at the beginning of the stream. I care about icons. I care about movesets. I care about the overall history of gaming being represented. I think that's a really good one. And vibes. That's what I care about. Which is why some of them are tougher than others, because selfishly I'd keep them, but I don't know if it's the best for Nintendo to keep them. And that's the tough part about a lot of these characters being in the mix. So again, we have 15 alive from that first row. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 alive on that middle row there. Oh, there's no way I could cut a Sonic. So for those, I'm also streaming this for those in just the podcast version. So there's no way in hell I could ever cut Sonic. There's no Red X coming for your boy. I can guarantee you that. Alrighty, only 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 alive from that middle row. The middle row is a row of death. That includes the Miis too. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 alive from these other rows. So I'm already looking here. 30. We have 39 characters alive currently. 3 gotta stay to make this an even cut. And we got, let's make sure our math is right. We have Joker alive, or Joker yet to be decided, Piranha Plant, Greninja, Snake, Rob, and Ryu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Somebody gotta go! So, thank you for making that clip, by the way. It's appreciated, guys. It's interesting. It's one of my favorite characters playing. I totally get it. Yeah, I mean, it's. This is one of those, like, I saw a recent video where, I wasn't a coward in doing these cuts, and I'm trying to do the same thing. I don't want to just keep stuff just to keep it. That's the big thing here. Now, which mega franchise do I want to keep, and which ones do I want to piss off? And I think for gaming and fighting games, Street Fighter stays. I don't love Ryu, but Ryu's important. Ryu is also one of those characters when I get Ryu, I'm like, it's not bad, And we're up to 40 here with Ryu. Now I can piss off someone in the comment section right now that isn't an energetic music lover, and I'm thinking about it. Oh, gosh, it's so tough. It's so tough. It's so tough. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about, by the way. Okay, who gets to stay? Snake, Diddy Kong, Greninja, Piranha Plant, Joker. Which of those? Yeah, I still have to mod my Girl Pro Takeover Joker. Yep, you do. It's important. It's important to do those things. Okay, I am going to make the tough call. It's not a call I like making. Greninja's got to go. With the retooling, I might have to revise this. Anyone you want to accept Bandana D? Yeah, I know. Can't cut Bandana D when he's not even on the roster either. So... We'd like him to be, but he ain't there. So, we're here, and I said a lot about Greninja, and I would like to keep Greninja. Especially because I think a lot of Smash fans would really appreciate having a Pokemon Fire, Water, Grass core, especially with a good addition like Meowscarada just sitting on the table. And Greninja would be an obvious choice to keep. Def imagine he was in the game. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I'm second-guessing everything here. No, actually, you know what? Fuck it. I just said everything I don't want to do. I just thought of the ZA argument I gave earlier. We're reversing our opinions. Greninja stays. Again, super popular Pokemon. Forget everything I just said over the last minute. Because Greninja's awesome. But the actual one, if we go back into the show and... what I was saying earlier is ZA would affect this cut right now. If this was pre-ZA, I think Greninja gets cut. But I think he survives because of Legend ZA. Now, Metal Gear fans, I'm sorry. I tried very, very hard. I really did. But somebody gotta go. And your boy Snake's gotta go. Snake is one of those that never really fit the Smash aesthetic anyways. Only came back. Only really came back because everyone is here. The gimmick. But we can't just hold on to that. Some things got to be lost to time. And also Metal Gear, not what it used to be franchise-wise either. Especially after Kojima left, it was just a whole mess of stuff for a lot of people. So, I think Snake's gotta go. Alrighty, so let's just revise our kill counts here. We have 15 alive on the top. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 alive in that second row. I'm just looking at these things. Here we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 alive in that middle row. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 alive in that second to last row, that penultimate row, and we have 4 alive here, which also means I should really be doing the math of the cuts we need to make down. Because I think the magic number, I believe, is 42, if I recall. Because, yeah, 76 plus 8, 84. So, we really need 42 and 42. And we have 30. We can only keep one. Magic number is 69. I know the magic number is always supposed to be 69 for everything, but in this instance, magic number is 42. And now I am stuck with a major dilemma. Who gets to stay? Because also, I accidentally marked Daisy earlier, and that's for a retooling. Rob's still on the board. I forgot about Rob. Diddy's still on the board. Piranha Plant, Joker, and Daisy. 1 gets to stay, the 5 get to go. We just gotta make sacrifices. It's painful, guys. Diddy Kong's gotta go. Doesn't mean Diddy Kong couldn't come back as something else. But as of right now, Diddy gotta go. Diddy gotta go. And also, that's another great clip if you have no context for yourselves. Especially with that Diddy documentary that just came out. So, Diddy Kong's gone. Now, one interesting thing I could do is I could look up how many guest characters I kept in the game. And there's Sonic is 1. Pac-Man is 2. Rio, Cloud, Bayonetta, that's 5. Hero is 6. Steve is 7. Sora is 8. I mean, it would be a lot easier just to add Ash. That would make my day so much easier. Just make the female protagonist version of Joker that Ashley loves so much, and it would be so much easier to keep this one. But, oh boy, guys. I don't want to cut any of these characters. That's the tough part. That's why I usually find a loophole. I think Rob's got to go. It's tough because I've loved Rob since the first edition of Brawl. And beyond that, Rob literally did do a lot to save gaming for Nintendo and everybody. So, but unfortunately, he just doesn't make the cut. Him and his spinner arms. And then we have Daisy, Piranha Plant, Joker, if I recall correctly. Yeah, just scoping a little bit. Just scoping here. Joker, Piranha Plant, Daisy. People would think it's easy. It ain't easy. If I give an extra... Alright, I've got it. I've fucking got it here. Let's piss off everybody. Goodbye to Joker. Although I know Persona is big and people enjoy it, Joker is only representative of one Persona game, I believe. Maybe 2 with some spin-offs or whatever. But also, of the franchises looking at the icon status, does Joker have that over some of the other ones that we were up for debate later? No, he doesn't. Beyond that, fuck Persona. So, and obviously that's a joke, but 3 to 5 because they're similar style to each other. Got you. Okay. Thank you, my dear Ash, for helping me out. I do love the podcast that isn't going to get to see any of these comments, but here's me responding to the comments. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that's life in the big city. That's life in the Big Apple, you know? Even though I would never want to have life in the Big Apple ever, because I would die. So I'm down to 2. Who gets to stay? Between Daisy and Piranha Plant. And in its current iteration, it pains me. Daisy gotta go. And again, Daisy would be like Diddy. I'd want a lot of major retooling to get it back in somehow. Daisy would be my automatic save. But I'm keeping Piranha Plant. Is there selfish gain behind this? A little bit, because I like Piranha Plant. But hear me out. Hear me out. Piranha Plant, although a joke, and nobody asked for it, and nobody was really looking for it. Piranha Plant, to me, is a perfect example of what is awesome about Smash Brothers. Taking a concept that no one would even think to put into a game and somehow make it not only functional, but fun and enjoyable, and to make headlines with, that's big time. And again, Goombas, Koopas, Piranha Plants, all synonymous with Mario. Even more synonymous than even Daisy is now. And I want Daisy in for all the spin-offs and everything. And we need major retooling. So focus on that when we think about the next project we're going to go, when we relaunch this podcast as something else. Because, this is the final. But Piranha Plant stays because of all those reasons. So that is our roster. So, making the cut, Mario is 1, Donkey Kong is 2, Link 3, Samus 4, Yoshi 5, Kirby 6, Fox 7, Pikachu, that was not an 8, but I'm going to stop doing this after I hit 9 and 10. Luigi is 9, 10 for Ness, 11 is Captain Falcon. Not all the original 12 made it. 11 of the original 12 did. 12, Peach, obviously, First Lady of Gaming. Bowser, biggest enemy in gaming of all time. That's 13. Ice Climbers, way too fucking cool not to have them. If you don't like the Ice Climbers, I'll use one of my favorite phrases I use in my personal life, and Ash can attest to this one. You're entitled to your wrong opinion. The Ice Climbers are just great. They're just great. And if you don't agree with me, you're entitled to your wrong opinion. That's fine. So that's 14. Zelda is a 15. Obviously, our beloved princess has to be in our game. We go forward. Marth, the icon, the mascot, if you will, of Fire Emblem. That gets us to 16. Mewtwo, kind of that villainous cool Pokemon. It stays. And it stays there. And Ganondorf with some retooling gets to stay in. So we're going to change it up a little bit. That gets us up to 18. Game & Watch retro character. Flippin' bacon for the 19. Pit, the Angel of Kid Icarus. Kid Icarus was a really tough one to keep, but we wanted to keep 1 because it's a cool franchise of players. So we get there, and I believe that makes 20. And then rounding out the first half is Wario. Wario's so freaking cool. So crude, so fun, different tone set. Love that for it. So Wario stays for 21. Now the back half of the keeps. A retooled Pokemon trainer. We're really focusing on Charizard. But we keep because that concept is one of the best in all of Smash. By far. For 22. 23, the Icon Sonic. Can't Red X your boy. Even though the moveset is utterly garbage, it gets to stay with much major retooling for 23. And King Dedede rounds out a 24 for the big heavies and the Kirbys. And the Kirby franchise there. 25, the Icon Mega Man. It was a tough one, but he got to stay in the fight. 26 is Little Mac. 27, Greninja. The popular Pokemon ZA helped this guy out a lot. Was an ace for me in ZA. It stays, and I believe that is 27. 28 is all the Mii's. The Mii's only count as one. I think that's more than fair. Customization and character basis is really important in fighting games, so I stick with that. I believe that is 25, 26, 27, 28. Yeah. The icon of icons, Pac-Man, the Pac God for some, 29 gets to stay. Ryu, Cloud, Bayonetta, huge third-party characters technically. Ryu, Street Fighter, obviously, and with the Street Fighter movie coming out soon, you're going to want to have Ryu in a game. Cloud, motherfucking Strife, come on now. You need Final Fantasy reps. That is the rep of Final Fantasy. Bayonetta there as well. The supposed winner of the Smash ballot. Winner, in quotations here. But still a fun character, you got to keep it. And Inkling, obviously a new Nintendo icon that has to stay. So that brings us up 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Ridley, after so much harassment, Sakurai's got to just say he gets to stay in the game. 34. Then, my boy, King K. Rool, with his awesome flashing belly dance, Parry. He gets to stay, plus we need more villains in Smash. That's why K. Rool made the cut over Diddy Kong. 36, Isabelle, the lone Animal Crossing rep. It's in the orange for the retooling because it will take a few of those moves from Villager to stay in this roster, but that's A-okay. 37, the last one to make the fucking cut. Piranha Plant. Because sometimes commitment to the bit is important. 38, and by sometimes I mean always, commitment to the bit. I literally just said this to my wife yesterday. This is how my wife can know that I'm committed to her for the rest of my life. The only thing I'm more committed to in life than my wife is the bit. And that's important, and stick with that forever. So, 37, stick to the bit. Commit to the bit. 38, we go to Hero. What a great basis for a character. The drop-down menu, that RPG style, is something that I didn't even think I didn't know I needed. I have zero attachment to Dragon Quest. I fucking love playing as Hero. Hero is such a good execution of a character. Hero stays. And our final four in our main roster. The second Fire Emblem rep to stay is Byleth. That multi-weapon approach and the recency bias did help. The Minecraft Steve gets to stay. Minecraft, biggest game of all time. You gotta have Minecraft. Steve was such a big addition. The lone rep from Xenoblade is Pirate and Mithra because they're just more fun than Shulk. Some would say there's other reasons. I'm not one of them. But hey, commitment to the bit. And finally, because I don't want, as much as I love getting people crying over stupid things like this, I can't piss off the entire internet right now, especially after all the blood, sweat, and tears, literal tears that went into getting this character in the game, so Sora gets to stay as our final character. So rapid fire cuts. Jigglypuff, Sheik, Dr. Mario, Pichu, Falco, Young Link, Roy, Meta Knight, Zero Suit Samus, Snake, Ike, Diddy Kong, Lucas, Olimar, Lucario, Rob, Toon Link, Wolf, Villager, Wii Fit Trainer, Rosalina, Palutena, Lucina, Robin, Shulk, Dark Pit, Bowser Jr., Duck Hunt, Corrin, Daisy, Simon, Richter, Chrom, Dark Samus, Ken, Incineroar, Joker, Banjo and Kazooie, Terry Bogard, Min Min, the one-winged angel I wanted to keep, I couldn't get it done, Sephiroth, and Kazuya all hit the trash heap. They go into that recycle bin, and if you want to wipe the rest of your memory out from your computer, go to your recycle bin and make sure you got rid of it completely. Because sometimes you don't do that, and then you have gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes of storage on your computer that are just there. And you can't understand why, because you forgot about all the shit that you deleted 6 months ago. Go to the recycle bin. Figure it out. But that is a smash cut roster. We have cut it directly in half, motherfuckers, and we have done it. Just like we have done this final show of the ONETA show. As I said, a little bit of the preamble of the stream, and a little bit of the episode in general of this recording. This show is changing. It's not going away completely. It's changing to a different show as we're revamping it for different things. Oh no, a different opinion than mine. How awful. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. But the ONETA show is changing to be something different. So I thought it was fitting that we're working on a new Smash project, and the first episode ever of the ONETA show was literally doing this. So it's fun to get to revisit it with some different viewpoints and figure it out as we go. It's also a show that I started 2 years ago, I believe, yeah, and one in which I've done now, with this episode, 52. So I gave you a full year's content of weekly episodes if you want to just erase a year there. And it's one that I started while living in a city that I was not fond of, and one in which my life has gotten much better after leaving because I'm just happier where I am now. And it's fun to see that reflected in this show. And the content, and getting to stream with people, and getting to talk to people all around the world, and do so many different things. So, for anyone who did listen, even though it wasn't that big a deal, thank you guys so much for listening, watching, wherever you were for the ONETA show. It meant the world to me, and we're going to come back with some even better content from PT Creative. So thank you so much. Now, if you're with the stream, hold on tight. We're going to transition over to some Pokemon Black. If you're not with the stream, that's the end of this episode. Tune in for the new show. Go follow us on Instagram. Go look up the other shows that we have, including the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast, which is available on Spotify and YouTube, and you can find updates about the new show on that show as well. And go check out the rest of our YouTube content, because we got plenty of Smash content. We've got plenty of Pokemon content there, and all kinds of new cool stuff coming out. So check it out as best you can. Give a like, a comment, a subscribe, whatever the hell's going to help on the platform that you're on. Go check it out, and if you want to stay really in touch, go check out our socials on IG. It'd be appreciated. But, as always, thank you guys so much for watching and listening wherever you are. It is appreciated to all my fellow people of the internet. Peace, love, and hugs to you all. Goodbye! Alright, let's play some fucking games now. End of an era for me, and that's A-okay.